Hello and welcome to the Art Market podcasts. Today I'm here with Kate Holliday from Sunlight on Closed Lids. Hi Kate, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Hello.
I first came across your work at Radiance with Hannah Nunn.
Beautiful shop, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I love Hannah's shop. It is beautiful. Lots of quirky little things in there, and your cards definitely fit in there. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your company and what you do?
I studied fine art from 2001 to 2004. Really enjoyed it and concentrated a lot on photography. And I also started doing kind of textiles, screen printing. Really found that I really enjoyed that hands-on. And coming out of that, previous to university and all the way through college and school, I'd always made cards for families and friends, and always really enjoyed that. So coming out of university, deciding what to do after that, I realised I could merge the things that I'd been doing, like all the skills that I'd learned through university, to sort of concentrate it and focus it on making these small kind of pieces of art, cards. My first collection featured both of those things. So I made things through textiles and I photographed them, and they became the image on the card. And it was just a way of just really tying up everything that I was interested in and being able to make it into, fingers crossed, a business. So that's how it began. Sunlight on Closed Lids, the actual name, came from a list of things that I love. So I've just always kept a list in the back of my diary. So things like fish and chips, when you buy fish and chips, warm on your lap. And
I like that.
Yeah, and the smell of freshly cooked grass and lots of things like that. And sunlight on closed lids is one of those things. So when I'm travelling, especially on the train, love train journeys, when the sunlight is coming in and you've got your eyes closed, it's that lovely effect that you have on your eyelids. It just stuck with me. So I'd love to do children's books.
Yeah, I think your work is really playful, imaginative, and addictive as well. You just want to see more of it. So how hard is it when you leave university to start a business?
It is very hard. I mean, there was a good sort of 3 years before I found that focus with it. Personally, I think you're very lucky if you do know exactly what you want to do. And also it's things like finance that you have to be able to build up to start. I mean, I started off very small. I think I put £50 into my business account when I started. And I remember the chap at the bank, his sort of eyebrows went up when I said what I was putting into it. But, that's how I've started, and hopefully going at a pace I can cope with. I mean, university is fantastic for forming those friendships that I found that really stay with you. And I think those having those peers around me that were themselves coming out of university and continuing to be creative, that's really fed into how things have shaped for me as well.
It's nice to have an art community and talk about things and share contacts as well. I find that the art world, the art and designer maker world, is a lot more open to sharing contacts and helping one another than other kind of businesses. So I think it's quite a nice world to be in, really. And I think that does come from university kind of community as well.
Yes, I did focusing on the greetings cards, I did a really important thing when I was founding the business. I went and did a seminar down in Southend on Sea, which I'd never been to before, and was amazed that there was palm trees. It was brilliant. It was like going on holiday. But it was a 2-day thing, and it was called the Ladder Club, and it's still going, and it's run by an amazing lady called Lynn Tate, and she has her own card business and shop. And that really is, you paid, it wasn't that expensive, and you got to be there with other people who were thinking of starting up. And there was people who'd been in the industry for a long time, just really sharing advice. So that was so helpful, and I'm still in touch with those people I was there with, and it's lovely seeing them kind of go on and progress. That was a really helpful thing. Yeah. I did a fair in Harrogate, and again, I suppose it's that same feeling like at university, where there's a group of people, you're all in the same boat, and it's a big enough industry for all of you to have your space. And because there's that friendly feeling, you feel open to share advice and just support one another.
You need that as well, because especially because of copyright, at a lot of the fairs, a lot of students come around, and I've heard a lot of people who've had their designs kind of ripped off or taken and things like that, and you do need that community just to say, well, no, actually Kate was first, or or whoever was first with that design, and that's just wrong. I know Asted is really good for that, but how do you find with your designs? Do you have you had any bad experiences with that?
I've not as yet, touched wood.
Yeah.
I have seen it happen to people that I follow, and it is really bad. I've given advice about how to copyright things, and if somebody's going to do it, they're probably going to go and do it anyway.
Well, they look stupid anyway, because the community, and especially again on the web, they're the ones that are going to look stupid by going, they're literally going to kill their career before it starts.
It is, and I have seen it. I've seen it at other fairs that I've done where somebody's set up a stall, and you can tell that they're pretty much all their inspiration has come from this other person.
Yeah.
And I think I think one of the main things I remember somebody saying to me is that you just have to keep creating, and you have to keep moving forward with your designs. I guess that's one way of just staying ahead.
What do you love most about what you do?
I do really love doing fairs to public, because I really love meeting people and gaining that feedback, and really, because you create these things, and it's lovely to see people react to them, and people tell you stories about who they're buying it for, or if they maybe have another piece in their home already. That's a really lovely thing. I obviously love the designing part. I love to draw, and often have the radio on.
So do you think that is music an inspiration of yours then?
Yeah, definitely. I was very lucky. It was my birthday in February, and my husband very kindly bought me we have a record player downstairs, but he very kindly bought me one so that I could have it upstairs as well. That's really lovely. Like things like Scott Joplin and stuff I've been listening to of late, and they're really lovely music to work to, because it has almost like an animated feel to it. So especially when you're drawing, it's nice to have that sort of energy.
Yeah, definitely. So what else is your inspiration, and who's been your inspiration? Who's inspired you?
I absolutely love Eric Carle. I follow his blog. He's fantastic. I've always, obviously, since I was maybe first read The Hungry Caterpillar, he really communicates how he loves to play, and I think that's really important. And I often find that hard myself, just to have that bit of time to play, not put too much pressure on the end result.
Yeah.
And he really seems to do that, and his love of colour and textures, that is really inspiring. Like Darling Clementine in Norway, two fantastic girls who really work well together and make amazing designs. They've really gone across products, so they do greetings cards and prints, and they've gone into homewares, which is really, really inspiring. I also get inspired by musicians and by people like, do you know Miranda July, the filmmaker and performance artist?
Oh, I'll check her out.
She's brilliant. Storytelling. One person I've just thought actually that both me and my husband are really inspired by is a chap called Daniel Kitson. He was in Phoenix Nights, but he does amazing one-man shows, and we're going to see him soon. But he's just beautiful storyteller. So I think things like that really, I do use a lot of words in my designs.
Yeah.
Well, not a lot of words, but they seem to, sometimes they come first in the designs.
I think you've done it well there. You've got the simplicity of the words, which I think is really hard to do, and you've managed to capture that. So what's your favourite piece of work to date?
I guess that are connected to, I've maybe first done them for somebody in mind, and they've often worked out the best sellers, and maybe that's because there's been a lot of a lot of energy in them. I did one that is a card, and it's a girl and she's hanging up washing, but the washing is lettering and it says "Happy Birthday to You." And she's wearing red shoes, which I always tend to go for. But that was originally made for my nana, and that became one of the bestsellers. And then prints, I am pleased with my "You Light Me Up" print, and I've just launched a new one which I'll be showing at the fair on the 24th. Just the sentiment "You Light Me Up," that was inspired by a friend who wanted to do an exhibition all with lampshades. And I'd recently had sort of done this, it was like imagining meeting my future self. This probably sounds very funny. I did this and it was amazing, and my future self gave me a picture and it said "Be Bright" on it. This probably sounds a bit crazy, but
no, it doesn't at all.
Those words "Be Bright" really inspired a lot of things, so and that feels quite personal to me.
So you're coming to the art markets on the 24th of June, aren't you? What are you looking forward to the most about doing it?
Really looking forward to just being part of something which, because unfortunately I've never been able to visit it as yet, because I work on a Sunday, and I have a part-time post and work on a Sunday. I'm really looking forward to it because of the fact so many people at other fairs have told me about it. So there's this real reputation around it, which is lovely. And I've visited Home Firth before as a place, really, really loved it, and looking forward to seeing it again. Doing fairs, it's really inspiring to be around other makers and see their creations, and also love meeting visitors and speaking to them. There's a lot of positive vibes at events like this, and it's lovely.
Yeah,
so I'm really looking forward to it.
It's uplifting. The last art market was just so full of people who appreciated the work that was shown, which I think was the most important thing, that the people that were coming through the door and buying were the people who'd actually followed certain artists or designer makers, and they were there to buy, get the things that they wanted. And I think that was really nice for the artists and designer makers, because they felt a feeling of appreciation, isn't it, in that kind of way. So what's next for your company?
I'm going to be releasing more card designs and prints, and I also really love to start the children's books going. My mum she was a nursery teacher for a lot of years and has always been a brilliant storyteller, and I think just that experience of being with the children and learning how kind of their minds work and how they relate to stories and rhythm and rhymes. We're quite excited about working together, so she's actually been writing lots, and I'm really inspired to illustrate those. So that's the thing that is going to be a joy to work on, and hopefully that will happen this year.
That'll be an amazing synergy, you two together. Yeah, definitely. And have you got any exciting news to share?
I recently was included in a book called "I Love Stationery," and it was produced by Charlotte Rivers, who's UK based, and she's produced some lovely books. Previously, one was all about letterpress, and was really lovely produced. Like the cover itself is really tactile, so it was a real honour to be asked. And I've never been in a book before, so there was a lot of squealing happened when I was asked. Loveliest things that there's other people in that book who I've been inspired by for so long, like Darling Clementine and Gemma Coral and Present Incorrect. It's just very excited to be included in that.
I think it shows that you're into that next stage, isn't it? When you get featured into a book, then into the print world, and then it's there forever, which is a really nice feeling.
Yeah, and it's lovely because people have contacted me through it as well. So it's been a really lovely way of reaching other people, allowing the work to be seen by folk that I would maybe not have been able to reach before.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, well, it's been lovely speaking to you. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you on the 24th of June at the art market.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing you too. And thank you very much for interviewing me.
It's a pleasure. If you would like to know more about the art markets, go to www.artmarkets.co.uk. The next art market is on the 24th of June, and we look forward to seeing you there.